Then the plan, the cynical plan, kicks into gear, Lady Colin Campbell, with this interview that changed everything.
Today we're diving into a fiery controversy that has the internet buzzing. Lady Colin Campbell isn't holding back. She's calling Meghan Markle a crass opportunist and making shocking claims about alleged plastic surgery and identity reinvention. From racial politics to royal power plays, this one's a bombshell you don't want to miss. Let's break it all down.
But actually, it's worth thinking about, isn't it, Lady C, before the interview, how orchestrated all of this was. Meghan waited until she was heavily pregnant, but the conversations with Oprah Winfrey had been going on when Meghan was still a fully fledged member of the royal family. The narrative that Meghan was trying to feed Oprah Winfrey right from the start was that she was a victim of racism. Racism, by the way, that never was there.
I have been in two minds as to whether Meghan decided that she needed to go down the treacherous road to perdition once the Queen thwarted her with half in, half out. I'm not sure, though, that she would not have elected to go down that route no matter what. Because remember, at the time, Black Lives Matter was a huge thing. And Meghan has never been able to resist jumping on a bandwagon, no matter what the bandwagon was. And I mean, this is a woman who passed for white for most of her life.
Well, she actually was Caucasian when she defined herself. I mean, on her acting resume, she described herself as Caucasian.
When Meghan Markle stepped into the royal spotlight, many hoped for a modern fairy tale, but behind palace walls, the story was very different. Lady Colin Campbell alleges Meghan was planning her victimhood narrative long before stepping back from royal duties. The timing of her Oprah interview, according to Lady C, strategically calculated to maximize public sympathy and media attention.
And she made sure that she eradicated every sign of her African heritage with plastic surgery and beauty treatments and hair straightening, etc. So she really was a race denier. But once it became useful, and I mean, she played the race card, if you remember, from having orchestrated the situation so that when she was going out with Harry and she was just a girlfriend, she was really a bonk. And she made sure that she solidified her position by being declared his official girlfriend in the Sunday Express story that broke the news of their relationship. And everything was ready in place in the United States of America that day for all the publications in the United States of America to pick up her approved line, which they did. And if you stop to think that within a week of the declaration being made that she was Harry's official girlfriend, she got Harry by threatening to leave him if he didn't protect her against racist and sexist comments. Well, she's a woman, he's a man. Obviously, they're going to comment on her sex, but nobody was actually commenting adversely on her race. There was the one headline in the Mail Online, which was done in the United States of America. It wasn't done in England, about Straight Out of Compton. Well, that famous actor who was in The Bodyguard, what's his name? I'd forgotten it.
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. He's Straight Out of Compton. But I mean, she used the slimmest things because she knew that there were so many bodies buried that that the press were going to discover about her. So she got Harry to get Jason
Right
North
from the
within
start.
a week. Sorry?
Right from the start.
That's right. So she played the race card the first week.
When, Lady
And
C, let's be honest about it, none of us in the media knew who this woman was. We certainly didn't judge her because of her race, because of the fact she had a black mother. I mean, it was ludicrous. And it was so desperate. I mean, do you remember that front page when Sarah Vine in the Daily Mail wrote that she had niggling doubts about Meghan Markle? Well, those niggling doubts have proved to be right. And that was turned into some sort of racism scandal. That's sick. That's sick if you can't use words in the English language. I was also criticized of the same thing because I would sometimes use the very well-known phrase whiter than white. So they were looking for reasons, and you're right. Straight Outta Compton, which had no race connotations whatsoever, was used right from day one. And it was the only real example.
Remember the claims about Archie being denied a royal title because of his skin colour? Lady C says it's all fiction. She insists Meghan knew the royal rules from the start. Archie wasn't entitled to a title under current laws. The race angle, according to Lady C, was a weaponised lie meant to inflict damage on the monarchy.
Also, let's remember, poor Rachel Johnson said that she was exotic. Well, I've been called exotic. I mean, exotic is actually a compliment. All of a sudden, it became a racist insult. But she was playing the race card from the word go. So would she have still, if they had been allowed to be half in, half out, would she have still played the race card? I suspect there would have been no necessity to do so, but she, being the crass and vulgar opportunist that she is, she would have played it nevertheless.
But Lady C, it's very important that you mention Black Lives Matter and George Floyd, because sometimes it's easy to forget how celebrities cashed in, quite literally in many cases, on that hysteria. And in June 2020, when Meghan's plan was developing, she decided to go public. This is before the Oprah interview, of course, 9 months before the Oprah interview. She decides to go public with her own personal feelings on George Floyd. Let's watch this. So this was the start, Lady C, this was the start of Meghan trying to take on an activist persona, and it was very cynical.
Meghan is one of the crassest opportunists that it has been anyone's displeasure to have to encounter. She has used not only race, she has used everything that she could. Meghan is like a sculptress who is working in clay, and she just grabs the clay, and she then twists it and turns it into whatever she thinks is going to reflect well upon herself. I mean, how is it that somebody who has done everything in her power to erase every sign of her African heritage then jumped upon the bandwagon? It's so crass, it's so obvious. And had Meghan chooses to jump on bandwagons which she thinks will give her approbation, and that she can then somehow spin so that she will end up being regarded as a great leader. I mean, the woman is totally out to lunch.
And let's not forget, the Oprah interview aired while Prince Philip was on his deathbed. At the centre of all this is a bigger question. Was Meghan Markle a misunderstood royal or a master manipulator? Lady C certainly thinks it's the latter. From alleged plastic surgery to playing both sides of the race debate, the accusations are loud and the consequences louder.
Yes.
But it has taken it has taken years of people seeing her jumping on bandwagons to actually realize that there is no substance there. It's not about the cause. It's Meghan jumping on causes to elevate herself. And, but it's, at first, people would have thought, oh, well, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Or, yeah, she's a woman of color. She's compassionate, and except, of course, she's not. But it's taken people a while to figure that out. But in the meantime, look at the havoc she's caused. At the time of that clip, I had African and West Indian diplomats coming up to me at events and complaining about Meghan and saying to me, that because obviously I'm Jamaican, and saying that they approved of what I was doing in terms of not allowing the race baiting to go on, because I was busy calling out Meghan as a race baiter long before most other people were.
Absolutely, you were. At a time,
but the diplomats in the West Indies and in Africa, who I was in contact with, and some of whom I'm still in contact with, they understood the damage she was doing in the Commonwealth, and I think it's worked its way through to a large extent. But a few years ago, the damage she did was tremendous.
Huge. Obviously, Lady C, this all builds up, and the context. I mean, personally, I believe Meghan was planning this from her time in the royal family, but George Floyd and Black Lives Matter supercharges her plot. So in March 2021, finally the interview happens. She sits down with Oprah Winfrey and she literally invents a witch hunt within the palace over these so-called royal races. Now, we know this never happened, Lady C. Even Harry has now had to admit this was a complete figment of the imagination. But the questions that Meghan said within the palace were about whether Archie would be given a royal title and security, but also how dark his skin might be when he was born. Now, surely if there were questions about whether Archie would be given a royal title, it involves how Archie was born. It would be nothing to do with the fact that his mother was mixed race. But what do you make of her claims to Oprah, which of course were designed to inflict maximum damage on the royal family, and they were made, let's never forget this, with Prince Philip in his dying days in hospital?
Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Lady Campbell is exposing the truth or stirring the pot? Hit that like button if you found this eye-opening, and don't forget to subscribe for more raw, unfiltered takes on the royals and beyond. Until next time, stay curious and stay bold.